darling. So I got an anonymous request asking to talk about some rumors that I may have heard about some of the other Elven rulers, and I don't like to gossip. It's just it's not sort of becoming of a king to sort of spread things, malcontent and such, and you don't know how much of them is true or not. So it's not sort of the thing I like to do, darlings. That said, I do like to have a little bit of fun, and I'm not saying that I know anything more than just what I've heard. I'm not going to sort of talk about things that I don't know, except perhaps in these couple of instances because, we're just going to keep it between me and you, darlings, no one else. It's not sort of something to share with the greater internet or the world or anything. It's just you and me having a little conversation of things that I've heard. Not necessarily things I believe, just things that I've heard. So it's true there are many rumors that have been brewing, particularly as of late, about one particular elven queen and her possible affair with a wizard. I'm not going to name names, but we all know who's involved, don't we, darlings? It's a little obvious, isn't it? But I'm not saying that I know any facts. I've just sort of heard rumors of sightings and sort of behaviors in sort of a public context. I try to keep my distance. There's a little bit of bad blood between her people and mine, so I don't like to spend a lot of time sort of involved, despite the fact that, there used to be quite a kinship between the ruler of her kingdom and mine. My father had no problem with the rulers of Lorien until she sort of took over. It sort of became a thing where we don't speak. It's for the best, darling. And I don't want to get into all the whys, it's water under the bridge. Let's just let it go. But anyhow, yes, I have heard that she may be less than faithful to her husband, and I think that's a terrible charge, and I have no evidence to prove that she's done it, and of course I would never look for it either. It's not sort of my problem, darling. I just want you to be aware. I'm sure you've heard the rumors anyhow. It's hardly a surprise, really. I mean, have you seen the two of them together? And the White Council, they sort of dominate it, it's sort of the two of them all the time. Now, speaking of things related, let's talk about a certain ruler of Rivendell. He and I sort of, we had a bit of a friendly rivalry for a while when we were younger. It's all in the past now, darling. It's all in the past. He can't hold his liquor or anything, so it really doesn't matter. He's not really worth my time. But he has a great skill with healing, and there have been times where my people have gone to him for help, and so he's been very good about that, darlings. And so, I have very little bad to say about the man, except that he should stop crying about the fact all his people are going to Valinor. It's just when I feel like when you get involved in all these terrible affairs of other people's, you sort of see all the bad in the world, and so of course you want to leave it. Whereas, I make sure that my people have everything we need here. We don't get involved in all that nonsense going on in other kingdoms, and so there's no reason for us to go because everything is fine here. Anyhow, that's just sort of his own problem, and I've heard a lot of things about this daughter of his. I for many years thought it is so hilarious about how she fell in love with a mortal, and I suppose I really don't have any ground to stand on when it comes to that anymore, since my own son has... Well, we all know the history with that, so let's just not dwell on it, shall we, darlings? But anyhow, we have a lot in common. It's just I sort of, I feel like I'm able to continue on a little bit better than him, and there's people who may disagree out there, but I'm just saying that, his kingdom is getting rather empty lately, and there's not really so many people to rule. And also, you have no idea how terrible his twin sons are. My God. You would swear they weren't even elves. They were just some sort of orc hybrid demon children, honestly. You know, they have the faces of angels, but do not ever let them talk you into anything whatsoever. I'm so glad that I was older, so they sort of didn't pull pranks, but my poor son had such a time every time he'd go drinking there, because, you know, my son likes to drink like a regular person, and so they sort of take advantage of that sort of thing. But anyhow, you know, I don't really have any good juicy rumors, you know, and if I did, I probably wouldn't share them, darlings. You know, that's sort of those things you just keep to yourself, and I haven't had nearly enough to drink to sort of talk about them. So I hope you've enjoyed a few of these little rumors, and perhaps I'll come up with some more later. You know, I haven't really been digging around. It's just sort of things off the top of my head. So I hope that this answered your question, darling, and thank you so much for the prompt. So, ta-ta.